Okay everybody, we're going to start today's video with a visual representation. So I'm not into PowerPoint and all this clever editing and stuff, so I felt this is the easiest way. The book here, Lady Colin Campbell, represents Meghan and Harry. The heart-shaped bowl represents the sugars, and the charging brick at the bottom represents Christopher Bouzy. Now the question is, have Harry and Meghan financed the sugars in any way, shape or form? Is there actually evidence? That is a question, a valid question. Now, what we do have is the sugars are definitely connected to Christopher Bouzy because he has tweeted, admitted and starred on lots of their podcasts. And he says thanks for fundraising, using Bot Sentinel. So there is a connection here. Now, interestingly enough, Bouzy also has a connection to Harry and Meghan because he starred on their Netflix docuseries. The connection I'm looking for is from here directly to here. So let's talk about this in today's video. Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon everybody. Hope you're all having a nice Easter weekend. Here we've got a blustery storm. Feels like this storm's been going on forever down here. Let's get into it. So you've just seen my very crude presentation to demonstrate the last piece of the jigsaw that I personally have been looking for. Before Bouzy starred on Harry and Meghan's Netflix docuseries, I had no evidence that they were in touch with him, that they were working with him, that there was any connection. And when he first tweeted months before the docuseries came out, he bragged and said, I'm going to star on their docuseries. I jumped for joy personally. I thought, yes, this is the stupidest thing they can do. They are serving themselves up on a silver platter and opening themselves up for a world of criticism, which, yes, some of it's come, but nothing like what you're gonna see. So he stars on their Netflix docuseries, but we all suspected long before that he was connected to them. Was he paid for joining in on that? But there is a definite connection. Harry quotes Bot Sentinel. He cannot deny that he doesn't know who Christopher Bouzy is, that he has... If you're going to put someone in a documentary, check out their background. So Harry doesn't even have the excuse of saying he didn't know anything about Christopher Bouzy's trolling comments. Now, I've just watched the Duchess of Narsussex's latest video, and she has a wealth of evidence, or for the benefit of sugars, receipts, and not her truth, the truth. Bouzy's own words. She has sat laboriously listening to sugar podcasts and recording them over the last few years. Evidence. So I will put a link in the description to that video. I recommend everybody go and listen to that to the end, no matter how painful it is listening to Bouzy. Listen to it. Take note of his words. He was out for the Duchess of Narsussex initially. And then secondly, it changed somehow to Yankee Wally. And his explanation of that, I think you'll find very interesting. Now, as I've said before, he wasn't talking about Shalon Lester or the other YouTubers when he starred on Harry and Meghan's docuseries. He was talking about Murky Meg, according to Taz, and Yankee Wally. But I believe, this is my belief and my opinion, Harry and Meghan didn't want to feature those three YouTubers on their Netflix docuseries, which was being, the whole world went to watch it, because they knew that the consequence would be that millions of people would go and look up Murky Meg, according to Taz, and Yankee Wally, and what would they find? Would they find, would a reasonable bystander or passerby who's not that invested, would they find racist women? No. Would they find screaming banshees? No. Would they find 3 very reasonable, very polite, nicely presented ladies explaining why they have their doubts about certain things, why they have opinions about certain things? All 3 are British subjects, all 3 are in a monarchy, and all 3 are talking about, or were then talking about, their queen, the late Queen Elizabeth II, and Harry and Meghan couldn't risk that. They couldn't risk having millions of people going and listening to the very well-reasoned murky Meg with her research. They couldn't risk them going and watching the beautiful, young and highly talented Taz with her editing skills. And they definitely couldn't risk an audience ever hearing what Wally had to say about her thoughts on the British line of succession. Now, I understand not everybody lives in a monarchy and not everybody gets it about a line of succession. And I just can't be too crude about how one human being is born of the body of another human being. I mean, we all know the birds and the bees. But the line of the succession is that it must be of the body and the flesh of a member of the royal family to be in the line. That was very much Wally's theory. And she had questions, a lot of questions, and a lot of doubts. And Meghan and Harry just couldn't afford that. Now, let's say hypothetically, because I am going to use hypothetical here. Let's say Harry and Meghan used a surrogate. Good for them. If they can't have children for some reason, there is nothing wrong with that. But when you're in a line of succession where there are rules, that's another matter. Now, I see yesterday Christopher Bouzy tweeted a whole damn load of stuff. He starts off with, I'm going to dig out my receipts. You know, that is just such a stupid word. Stop using that word, Bouzy. Stop it. Say evidence. Say evidence. Say proof. Do not say receipts. I loathe that word. And so he creates this thread where he has featured snippets of various YouTubers in our community to try and depict and paint us as a bunch of lunatics and derangers, as they like to call us. The people that he listed, I can't remember all of them, Andy Signor, Paula M, P. Dina, Trevor Coult, yes. And Trevor's feature is, anyone who follows Trevor Coult knows, he hardly ever mentions whether Meghan was pregnant or not. But he has mentioned it because he has got a son. He does remember when his wife was pregnant. He does notice things even as a man, even as a chap. He's noticed things that don't add up. So he made a casual remark. Bouzy used that. And then Bouzy's trying to give the impression that all of these YouTubers are deranged lunatics who want to kill Meghan Markle, who are tormenting and bullying her and blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm not endorsing or any of these channels. They all use their own free speech. They are great content creators. I'm subscribed to all of them. I don't always agree with what a content creator says, but that's the whole point. We don't all agree with every single word that somebody says. Interestingly enough, Bouzy did not, as far as I saw, he did not include any of Taz's snippets of videos, and he didn't include any of Murky Meg. Isn't that interesting? Really, when his reports that he created before were very much about Murky Taz and Wally. And the kind of things he put in his reports were their real names, where they live, what they do for a living, as if any of that has got anything to do with a British subject questioning their monarch and their line of succession. So if you do go and look at Bouzy's thread, you can see that the sugars reply with things like, this is insane, they're demanding to see a birth certificate of a woman they don't know. Welcome to a fucking monarchy. I'm sorry to swear. Are they really stupid? Right, now in the UK, if somebody dies without a will, there are these companies called heir hunters, and they track down the heirs to see who's going to receive the money. And they do it by public register birth certificates. And I'm sure it will be the same in America or any other country that's a republic. Not Republican Party, a republic as in a country that doesn't have a monarch. So that's a line of succession, sugars, right? You can't just get some random stranger coming along and go, oh, hey, I was his son. Oh, okay, where's the birth certificates? Where's the proof? Oh, I was adopted. Okay, where's the paperwork? Where's the proof? Oh, I was a product of a surrogacy. Where's the proof? Where's the paperwork? Where's the birth certificate? Where's the agreement? That's called evidence when you are in a line of succession. And it is the same when it comes to intestate inheritance. You have to prove your claim. So surely even sugars can realise that. Christopher Bouzy, oh, and one very interesting tweet amongst it all appeared to me to be from one of the actual Sussex squad, who basically said, Bouzy, you're a disgrace. You have done nothing but drag the good name of the Sussex squad through the mud for the last few weeks. Shut the hell up. Leave us alone. Back away. Go. And I wonder who asked for that, because I can't imagine that Meghan wants this level of scrutiny thrown out there all over again, which is what Bouzy is trying to do. So, if you go and watch the Duchess of Narsussex, you will hear Bouzy saying his own thing, because what a lot of people do when they're liars, and he has lied. They say one type of shit a long time ago and they forget. And they say a new type of shit later on. Well, unlucky for Bouzy, she's got all the recordings and she's going to be dumping further recordings, much to his inconvenience. He is loving the infamy of it all, as I suspected he would. His theory is that it's all evil British royal journalists. Now, if we get back to the connection between Harry and Meghan and the Sugars, the Sussex squad, I know a lot of you are going to comment and say, we've seen them kissing and hugging, we've seen them have selfies done with them, we've seen them on Zoom calls thanking them for raising money for charity. Yes, but that's not evidence that they have paid these super fans to employ Christopher Bouzy. Right? That is not a financial connection as far as I'm concerned. For example, the Sugars at the moment on Twitter keep showing a photograph, and I forget the lady's name, Brittany, I think she's called Brittany. She's one of the Meg's community, oh, forgive me, I'll put, feel free to say in the comments, I can't think what her name is now. She's a blonde lady, American, and she was really lucky. She went to an event where Catherine was, and she got a selfie, her and the Princess of Wales. So the Sugars are like, look, Catherine knows her, therefore it's evidence, it's paid. It's not. And when Harry and Meghan kiss and shake hands and do selfies with people that are known Sussex squad members, that is not evidence. That doesn't count. If 1 penny can be proved to have come from Harry and Meghan to the Sugars, that is Windsor money. Because where did Windsor get his money from? He got it from his mum. He got it from his dad. Where did his mum get it from? She got it from his dad. Where did his dad get it from? He got it from his mum. It's Windsor money. If 1 penny can be proved to have gone from Harry and Meghan to the Sussex squad and Bouzy, then that is a Windsor, a member of the royal family, using their wealth, their privilege, to stamp all over peasants and silence their free speech. And that could even spell the end of the British royal monarchy if it isn't handled very carefully. I have my suspicions, but at this stage I don't have that last piece of the puzzle. However, there may be something about to come to light. Now, some of you may be familiar with the name the Duke of Pantalaimon. It's a person who Wally used to quote a lot. They were thrown off Twitter, and they have a blog, and I shall put a link to that blog. And they are saying, their claim is that they have paid private investigators and that they have the names of all of the sewer squad, all of them. They know of one employee at Twitter who was paid to remove royal accounts. I wonder if that can be connected to any name who works at YouTube, who may put restrictions on YouTubers. Can you imagine the headlines if it comes out that Harry and Meghan theoretically, hypothetically, have paid people to, for example, bully a Welsh pensioner living alone with her cats and a hedgehog, or a decorated war hero such as Trevor Coult MC, who was decorated by Harry's granny? Can you imagine what passers-by, people who are not invested in this at all, can you imagine what they're going to think? They're going to be horrified. They're going to be livid. Never mind this Riviera Origania Instagram thing she's got going. She'll have to delete that for sure. Harry, withdraw. The drawbridge will come up. That will be it. Game over. No way. Royal trolls, members of the royal family financing an orchestrated online trolling campaign. Oh my God. Which is interesting because that was the original allegation of Christopher Bouzy, that Murky, Taz and Wally all worked in an office block together and they were all employed by Prince William and Catherine. Oh, really? But that narrative has changed. It was only 83 accounts on Twitter that didn't like Meghan, and that's what was making Meghan unpopular. Not that the general population saw her as, excuse my French, a bit of a fucking bitch, which over the last 4 years she's doubled down on and proved, shitting all over her own family, shitting all over the royal family, etc., etc., etc. Well, Duke Pantalaimon says that he has passed on information to Dan Wootton, who is now friends with Trevor Coult. Isn't it interesting? All these people who never really knew each other, all making friends and comparing notes. Oh dear, 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 Christopher Bouzy, what have you started? As always, in the meantime, I look forward to hearing your thoughts, opinions, theories, and we're all going to be just watching this space, get the impression it's all going to kick off sooner rather than later. Thank you very much for listening.